struggle on Complex News. I'm Nadeska here with Star and DJ Akademiks. Star is recovering from a flu. It's too late. You gotta do this before the cameras start rolling.
Like our associate producer over there, he's white, so he don't know nothing about having ashy ankles. So I had to cover my shit up. Thank him for pointing that out. But I do know Star is sick. You got the thought flu, my brother?
I was sick.
What?
I took Tamiflu. It's a prescription, and I'm better now.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here if I had the flu.
She was threatening me, saying no days off when I first signed up. So that's why I spent the entire weekend in the bed on the Tamiflu.
Don't worry, you'll get used to it. Typical complex shit, slave labor. Gotta come in.
All right, so who stayed up late to watch the Super Bowl last night?
Good game.
You should have been in bed, actually, but it was a great game.
I was in bed watching. Good game.
Did any of you lose money on the game last night? Like Birdman, you lost 100K?
Birdman supposedly lost 150K. I was almost gonna lose money because never bet against Brady, but I'm glad that my man OVO Chops over here didn't respond to the text. You know people be pussying out, and he didn't respond to the text.
Oh, shit.
I didn't.
Do you want me to
lose
fact
money.
check this, or I was
You can
actually
fact check,
I was
'cause you were in
actually
this
in the group
conversation.
chat.
He did not say.
He did want the bet. I didn't see a number though.
Yeah, he didn't say the number. We got to shake on it.
Okay.
I thought it was 100K with Birdman and...
Birdman and
It kept
ARI.
changing though. It was like 150, then it was 200K.
Yeah, then he put up another
then it
post
was-
and he says 150, and he was smiling with like just a bunch of 20s in front of himself.
Does
Regardless,
Birdman have 100K?
Man, he got a
He
tour.
just lost the mansion.
Yo, he got a tour that cost $3 million. He got it, maybe not in money.
Not
but
for
they
legal
gotta,
issues,
They
only
gotta
for
fucking
bets.
liquidate this shit.
Straight
You gotta
cash
get it.
only. Straight cash. Did you guys like the halftime show? Justin Timberlake, of course, did a medley of his hits.
I thought it worked.
It worked. Okay.
It worked, yeah. I mean, for what it was, it's the Super Bowl. There are constraints. Justin is he's a good performer. He played the hits. He paid tribute to Prince, even though Prince didn't fuck with him. I thought it went over well. I got no issues. I'm glad he didn't bring out a whole bunch of people on stage with him, and he kept the background dancers to a minimal.
Right.
It worked. It wasn't spectacular, but it worked for me.
So I guess you're addressing a lot of people felt like he should have had more guests coming out.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, these halftime performances is super whack because they're super safe. But I understand why it's super safe.
Right.
It got to be super
Yeah.
safe, right? But they're super whack when you think of just performances. However, I was educated by the Prince. Of course, he tried to pay some tribute to Prince, and shoot, I found out afterwards really his history with Prince. I'm not gonna knock him for it. Again, it's a Super Bowl, biggest platform you could have on live TV throughout the year. He handled it accordingly. As long as there's not a scandal, you won, right? If we're talking about a titty being popped out, your genitals being exposed, or you fucking slipping and falling, that's not good. But clearly, you're not gonna get much out of this, right? Unless it's like a Beyonce performance and she just fucking shuts everything down.
Yeah, it was solid.
Probably lose electricity the whole stadium.
I wasn't mad at him.
Yeah, I wasn't mad either.
All right,
Your thoughts?
Well, it was cool. It was cool. I love JT. I was an NSYNC fan growing up, so I've seen him live a few times. It was cool, but again, not mind-blowing, not spectacular. It's what I expected from a Super Bowl performance.
Okay.
But while this was happening, the whole country was watching the Super Bowl. Kylie Jenner was finally announcing that she gave birth to a new baby with Travis Scott. So she's...
Wait, during the Super Bowl?
I think
There's
there's
some attention
before.
for it.
I think the day,
Okay.
the timing that she chose is what I'm saying. For months, people have been speculating. There hasn't been much photos or videos of her, although we know they're like always out and about. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't a coincidence that they choose around the Super Bowl to announce.
Ain't no
What do you guys
pimp
think?
like a country pimp. Salute to Travis Scott. He knocked her up, didn't wife her. And also Offset snatched Cardi B, the baddest bitch from the North. Country niggas stay winning. Stay winning.
That is a fact. But
Yeah.
I'm going to just say ugly niggas stay winning because, you know what I mean? Travis Scott, and listen, I'm not throwing shade. I'm in the club, too.
You just did.
No, I'm in the club, too. I just think he's one of the leaders. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So Travis Scott's holding it down for the ugly niggas. He's giving us all hope, man. When I seen Travis Scott bag some of these chicks, man, I'm like, oh, thank you, Jesus. You know what I mean? It shows that we all got a chance. And I'm glad, by the way, him and Kylie, I don't know too much about their relationship. They haven't been too public with it.
Super low key.
But clearly they have a beautiful child. Is it a girl or boy? Somebody tell me that. It's a girl? Super happy for them. This is the first time I've ever seen the Kardashians have a pregnancy where we're not seeing like the biggest photo.
Ain't no pimp
Right.
like a country pimp. Hats
She
off
kept
to
it
him.
low key. She kept it low key. I'm happy for them. I'm just waiting for that baby to start hitting them Travis Scott eye lips. So we'll see.
Wow.
Academics.
You are hating.
That's not hating. I'm waiting for the baby to
No, he's
like father, like son.
I know that he means this genuinely. I could see it in his eyes.
Okay.
He's not even hating.
I'll leave that one alone for now.
All right, let's talk about Troy Ave. So remember a couple years back, May 2016, the shooting at Irving Plaza. So his friend and bodyguard Banga was shot and killed. Taxstone, host of the Tax Season podcast, of course, was indicted on murder charges and is currently locked up. Now Troy Ave has a new video called Too Legit to Quit. It's an animated video where he seems to recreate the shooting. And there's like a line where he's testifying in court. It's a little suspect. Let's take a look.
Down, turn you to a cold case. I do murder without a sound. I don't argue, no yelling. I do murders and don't get found. If they dead, then who tell it? I'm only loyal to my fame. It's true. Middle finger from the stains. Either me or it's you. I will send it out to hell.
So in this, it seems to insinuate that he would testify against Taxstone. So where to start with Troy Ave? When he was doing press after Banga was murdered, people already thought it was a bad look. You know what I mean? His family was going through a lot. And now to put it in a video, I guess why? What do you think he's trying to do here?
I don't think this is a bad look in terms of Banga. And this is from me watching how he's moved. He showed, I think there was a little situation with him and Banga's family, but I think he's been very respectful to Banga. And by the way, we have to start these conversations by acknowledging that someone died.
Right.
Rest in peace, Banga, who was a close friend and bodyguard of Troy Ave. However, I think a lot of people, and this is why we're getting the conversations started because of videos like this. Ever since Troy Ave got arrested for attempted murder, ever since we saw the video of him busting his guns on camera, a lot of people have said that he's been outspoken through music on it. I think it's a real thin line between rap. You know, niggas love when people rapping the real shit.
Right.
But is it too real? Because
Exactly.
if he's rapping exactly what happened,
Right.
I mean, I'm watching the animated video. It shows the whatever, I don't know if it was a Corvette or whatever car he was driving when he got shot the second time.
The Christmas Day shooting, right?
It shows individuals playing off certain words. Taxstone, a beloved podcaster, like his slogan was "Be safe though," and I think he said "unsafe though." So it's clear. Again, he might be painting a picture of what happened through his music. Now, is that just him being real and just telling, his side of the story, or is that for other people just him saying too much? Again, I don't think it's really my place to speak. I just like for people to be consistent on everything.
Can I jump in? I want us to take our time with this. What about his lyrics? I'm only loyal to my fam. Middle finger from the stand. It's either me or it's you.
Yeah, it's either me or you.
He's gonna get on the stand. He said it right there, and I believe him. In my opinion, this is a milestone for urban culture and rap music. He's gonna get on the stand, and he's gonna point out Taxstone with regards to the shooting.
We've seen people on the stand before. Maybe not pointing out type of shit. But
Okay,
we've seen rappers on the stand.
but he's gonna point him out. He just said it. He's not gonna go down for a decade over this. He's gonna do some time for discharging that firearm in the club, as we saw in Irving Plaza.
Right.
You can't shoot a fucking gun in New York City in a club and not do no time in jail. Now,
And also you're pursuing the person.
exactly. Now, whether he shot into the crowd or his claims as he was pursuing the person who shot him. Either way, you discharged an illegal firearm into a crowd. So he's going to do some time. Or maybe they might give him time served, or maybe they'll give him a certain amount of time off because he's cooperating. But he's going to take the stand. And he then came back with some post here.
Yeah, so
trying to
people
clarify
were criticizing
snitching.
him and accusing him of being a snitch, and he was basically trying to defend himself, and it's just like, basically, look, you guys are out to get me. You laughed at me. You said I only sold 4,000 records. You said I shot myself and I killed my friend. Basically him saying, where is this quote? The other side is documented in court saying, it's Troy Ave. He's the bad guy. As for me, you can't snitch on videotape. You can't snitch on self-defense. Free Troy Ave. I'm innocent. I'm just curious even if he's going to testify, he did lose a friend, right? Do you think it's too much to put this in an animated video, Star?
No, he's laid it out exactly what he's going to do. I believe him. He's going to get up on that stand and try and take the pressure up off of himself.
Is that snitching?
I don't know, because by way of today's generation and standards, anything goes. I mean, everybody is exposing everybody. You have conversations with people. They're fucking screenshotting your conversations. They send the conversation to someone else.
Star.
No, give me a second. So I'm not sure what the parameters are anymore.
What are your parameters?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Let's say not
you're from a
modern
different
time,
era
but yeah,
too.
exactly.
You're
Okay.
from a different
So
era
would-
where you came up.
Okay,
different.
okay.
What
I
do you
don't
see?
do hypotheticals, number one. So I can't see myself in that situation. What would I do? Snitching used to be if you commit a crime together and someone gets caught and you tell on that individual or those people or a company, then you are indeed a snitch. But what he's going to do, in his own words, is he's only loyal to his fam. So it's a tough call. But I think I might be a little biased here on this one because I actually did reach out to Taxstone last year and I offered my services to take the stand to speak on his behalf because I think that he might be a victim, Taxstone.
In what way?
I think,
Were you going to point anyone out?
well, not necessarily point someone out, but I offered my services to speak on his behalf. I only met him one time. It was a couple of hours with regards to an interview. So I can't necessarily say I can be a character witness, but I can speak about what I think and what I know certain corporations, and I'll be even more specific, radio stations that amp this shit up, that magnify and intensify the bullshit.
So since you met him only one time, I'm curious, like, why you would go that far to help
I
him
think
out.
he might be a victim within this particular situation. I don't know
Just because
why.
of the way things are being reported, or because of what actually happened?
Yeah, why?
Well, again, I'm not 100% certain, but through my experience, there have been many situations where, being at a radio station, you promote certain things and you don't necessarily think about the consequences. I can tell you off the top, Hot 97 cried a whole lot of crocodile tears after Biggie got killed. But they were amping shit up back in the days. And having worked there, having reflected and seen all the bullshit that goes on, it's a machine. And I'm not saying Taxstone should walk away free, but at the same time, I don't know the particulars in his case. So again, I think I might be a little bit biased here, but Troy Ave is going to take the stand, as he already pointed out, and he's going to point Taxstone out. And I can only hope that Taxstone takes the stand to defend himself.
And I agree with that. I think, listen, my understanding of the case, and it's very muddied here, and again, this is where we start throwing around the word allegedly because we really don't know, and that will get proven in court. It feels like both of these men might have a case for self-defense. Right? Now, if we're talking self-defense, if you're just proving that you were defending yourself, whether it's taking a stand or cooperating, is that snitching? Again, I'm not a street dude, so I'm not going to say what snitching is. Again, I thought snitching was the same definition you gave. You and some cohorts, you were about to do a crime, and you get caught, and you give up the whole team, right? That was snitching. But if you got in an altercation with someone that you may view as an enemy, and you get locked up for possibly doing something to them, or they did something to you, and you tell the police, yeah, they did that to me.
Right.
I never knew that was snitching. But if it is, fuck it. Okay, again,
Right.
I think the rules and parameters now are different.
Very much so.
I do look at this, and I am very weary of the outside forces around it. Clearly, Troy Ave is indicating that he probably will take the stand.
Yeah.
And this is making news. By the way, and just to be 100% fair, there was news that came out months ago about Taxstone's lawyer filing motions where he wrote to the judge. And again, his lawyer wrote on behalf of him to the judge to say, hey, just keeping it real with you, Troy Ave's the bad guy. Again, I don't think it's my place to say which is snitching. These guys are fighting for their life. And I think we oftentimes, because we're judging the shit on social media, we start getting like really hell-bent on these street terms when these things are fighting for their lives. You get me?
I think
Troy
you and
Ave's
I
lawyer
agree on the fact that if one takes the stand, so should the other. Now, I think Taxstone is very much against taking the stand. I've heard him specify that in the past. And to be clear, he hasn't responded to my offer to testify on his behalf. That was just a DM I sent to him last year via Twitter DM. So he may not even take me up on that, but I did make the offer. You asked me about something last week about the rapper Game, who issued a threat upon me about a year or so ago. I forget when it was exactly. And if I can just go back for a second. No, I didn't file a lawsuit against him. I gave him a slap on the wrist because I'm a registered firearm carrier, again, and he issued a threat. So I had to let it be known if it comes down to something that, a threat was issued upon me. But I did file a lawsuit pro se against iHeart Media. Do you know what pro se means?
That's why.
Pro se means you do all the paperwork yourself. You spend nothing. You spend maybe $300 for a fucking lawsuit. I did all the paperwork myself, and I dragged it out over a year. They spent, I'm sure, $3 million defending my claims, and I kept it going, and I kept it going. Why? Because I wanted them to keep my name out of the bullshit. Don't include me in the bullshit. I don't need to be relevant in a world of fucking bullshit and accusations and threats and drama. So that's another reason why.
Did they settle?
What's that?
Did they settle?
They left me the fuck alone. The judge said to me, get out of here, your case, I'm not gonna let your case go forward. But they spent a shitload of money. And I think they got the point because, again, I filed it pro se. And I'll file it again pro se if they try and put me in the bullshit. But the point is, they have a knack for doing that type of shit, these bigger platforms, because they program this music in the minds of the young people and through the, I don't want to be so specific, but through some of the channels, they act like this sort of behavior should be acceptable, and it's not. So, again, I hope that Taxstone does defend himself by way of taking the stand, if Troy Ave does, and I think he will. And I think that it's going to get messy.
Right. Well, Tax is facing up to 20 years in prison. So we'll see how
Yeah, he
this
pleaded
goes.
guilty to the gun charges, yes?
Right.
He pled guilty to the federal gun charge, but now there's a second-degree murder charge, which is now in state court, which is New York court. I will say, and I'll keep going back to this, again, I think we do get lost in the fact that there's a lot of people who like Troy Ave as a musician, also like Taxstone as a podcaster. Both people have their own fans and they're public figures. They're beloved by whatever groups of people, but there's somebody who lost their lives here, and that's Banga. And I remember watching a Revolt documentary where his older brother and also his mom, they were desperately seeking for justice. So there's something that's gonna come out of this. I just hope people allow justice to take its course. And again, we could get it. It's going to be stories about who's snitching, who's what. Again, we got to see how it plays out in court. If both of these individuals are smart, you will operate just like how your lawyer is telling you, that you could beat the case, okay? Or at least you could get in the best situation for you to move on.
So if you were in that situation, Troy Ave's situation, I'm assuming you do hypotheticals, what would you do?
If I'm in Troy Ave's situation. Now, let's be clear what Troy Ave's situation is. Troy Ave is accused of attempted murder, right? He's facing like 20 years. And he could probably lessen that time or maybe validate why that charge is a no-go by saying he did something to me, right?
Which is cooperating.
I'm not no street nigga. So please don't hold me to no street. That's what I'm saying.
Come on.
I'm not no street nigga. Yeah. So if in that case, and I'm thinking in the way of self-defense, if I defended myself, trust me, I will be letting the police, the court, and everybody else know I defended myself. I'm not gonna be like, why the fuck would I? Again, why the fuck would I go to court and just be like, just the guy who was trying to kill me, I'm not going to say nothing against him. That's just me. However, I haven't made a career of promoting and basically saying I embody a gangster. That's different. Troy Ave has said he is the guy, the super tough guy about that life. Now, his music career hangs in the balance if he does that.
Do you think that Troy Ave is going to try to link Taxstone to the shooting on Christmas Day? Yeah. Christmas Day when he got shot in the car as well?
I don't know, but I do think more.
Well, hang on. If he wants to get the charges reduced and to not go back to jail, that may be something that they're in seek of as well. Who shot you? Tell us who shot you. Tell us who you think shot you. He's going to have to cooperate.
Hey,
what do you think about that?
listen, that's for him to deal with. That's for him to deal with. Again,
But-
it's for him to figure out his own morality. I always say this: when a rapper tells me he a gangster, I believe it until somebody proves otherwise. Right? So if you've been rapping about you all about that life, and now you're in that position, now we get to see what it is. Again, I don't give a fuck about, like, I'm not no guy who listens to Troy Ave's music and say, oh, this is some super tough guy. I listen to it because it sounds hot, right? Now, there's gangsters who really may look at him a certain way and hold him to certain rules. That's just not me, okay? And whatever he does in his case, I'm guessing it will define his character to the rest of the people. Right. But I'm thinking, because I'm a law-abiding citizen, it's not about that life.
Yeah. Taxpayer.
Right? I'm a 6 figures when they tax me, trust me. When
But he's broke, right?
I am broke.
Right.
No, I'm super broke. Stop
Okay,
it.
yeah,
Always
sorry, my
crying,
bad.
bro.
My bad.
But still, I gotta imagine if I'm in that situation, I'm doing whatever to make sure I get out of that situation.
Okay.
Final question here. All right, so former drug kingpin Alpo is now home. You familiar with this?
Yes.
You saw the video? Okay. People want to see him. The fucking clicks on the video already are going through the roof. I mean, we are fascinated with the dumb shit. So do you think that Troy Ave already understands that people will be accepting, A, and B, forgiving of him taking the stand?
Troy Ave was never a beloved figure, period.
Right.
And I'm not saying Alpo was either. But shit, Alpo has been almost like,
Made into a legend.
yeah, he's been made into a legend through movies, stories, and all these other things. Troy Ave, no. Like, honestly, this is the, like, sticking the knife in.
Right.
Okay.
This is why his Instagram post, that long thing defending himself, he knows that people like to clown him, so why even do this? He has to have known that people were going to react this way.
My only thing with how he's moving is this, right? And I'm guessing his mind was made up from day one because through his music, he's released, like, extended outros where he's just speaking very freely on what happened. He tells you the story. He does everything basically other than say, oh, it was me, so-and-so, and so-and-so, and so-and-so. So-and-so did this. And so again, he's putting it out there. So I'm guessing he's already came to acceptance with what will happen if he indeed has to take the stand. So I don't think we're like feeling bad for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing.
Right.
This feels calculated.
I'm sure there's
it's a fucking
more.
animated video,
Right,
and he's
right.
like, he's
There's more
pointing
coming,
niggas out
I'm
in the video.
sure. It's a lot. All right, so we know that with the rise of streaming, it's only a matter of time before CDs become extinct, and it looks like it might happen very soon. So retailers like Best Buy and Target are changing the rules up. So now Best Buy is going to officially stop having CDs in stock July 1st, and Target is threatening labels that they're only actually going to pay for the CDs that customers buy. Does this even matter anymore? They do still count physical sales, but is this going to affect anyone's first week numbers? We know you're big into those.
Of course it will. It'll definitely affect certain genres.
Who are the okay, right? Not hip hop
Yeah,
specifically.
adult contemporary, they absolutely buy CDs still, right? Now hip hop, the genre that is really just about the now and about the next, not really. Like we just saw the Migos did 200,000 copies first week, and they did 34,000 in raw sales. Most of that was just iTunes sales. People aren't really buying CDs. We saw Drake put out an album before, and we've seen the trend. Hey, we'll put out the physical CDs if you really want them, like a month later, weeks later. This really does nothing, but it also shows the blowback from the companies, right? So the record, the retailers, they used to have their mathematicians like do projections to say, hey, this artist is hot, we could purchase this quantity and it'll sell. But now they're realizing they're not being bought. So they're almost pushing back to say, if our shit don't sell, fuck it, give us a refund.
Yeah. And I think to some degree, the chains have the right to do this because they're being charged for the inventory. They're being charged not only the shipping to ship it back,
right.
Return shipping. So it's just a sign of the times.
Do you buy CDs still? Do you still have CDs?
No, I mean, if I buy something, it's something nostalgic, or it's something that I lost from my collection. But I pretty much just download. I rip shit off of YouTube.
His favorite
I'm
rock
a pirate.
songs? Pirate.
No, absolutely. and also, like we're seeing just the times change so drastically. Like Drake just went #1 with God's Plan and was majority streaming numbers. So again, yeah, I mean Eminem, like his fans bought CDs, but clearly, if we're just evaluating trends, like the M's are kind of going out in terms of if you're not adapting to streaming, your numbers ain't looking how it's used to look. So it is what it is.
All right, everyone, cop your CDs before July 1st, or just.
The interesting thing is this. You know how vinyl has become somewhat of a collector's item.
Yeah.
Will CDs ever become that? I don't see it happening
Yeah.
for maybe 5-10 years, but maybe it will.
Because Best
it might
Buy's-
be so rare. Same with
Yeah.
the cassette. I mean, shit,
don't
the
know.
cassette is.
The novelty is just not the same the way you play a vinyl versus a CD, right? But they said they're going to keep having vinyls in stock for at least another 2 years. So we know they're not
I think
going
that's
anywhere.
for DJ purposes. Do you still DJ?
But people also use them at home a lot too.
No. Vinyls are still heavily collected, right? There's a market for vinyl. Of course, it's not like the most consumed type of like purchasing music, but no, there is a straight market that's not really rising or decreasing.
Yeah.
For CDs, it's just going down. I'm wondering if at a certain point it might be like, hey, you remember the CD? I don't know if we'll get to that point.
So do you think that vinyl is still being manufactured for DJs? Why are they still making vinyl?
No, of course, for DJs and collectors. Yeah, like I mean, some DJs, there's a different feel as a DJ when you pull up with techniques and you have like vinyl records that you play with. It's super rare, right? But CDs, I think we gotta wait 5-10 years.
I don't know if it's ever going to happen.
I don't
I
think
threw
it
all
will
of mine
happen. Do you
out.
guys
Even the
own-
autographed ones. I
Do
threw
you guys
them
own
all
a cassette?
away.
You guys own cassette tapes?
Nah. Those didn't make it. They would always like unravel.
I have some classic cassette tapes.
Classic cassette
So
tape.
those are collector's items too, right?
Okay.
What's that?
Those are collector's items.
And
too.
what do
So
you
that's
play
I'm
them
saying.
on?
Maybe with time.
Oh, I don't play them. I just have them stored.
You don't even have a Walkman that still works?
No.
He made them
See?
shits, man. Them shits will be worth a lot in a little while.
I don't think so. They're just more so just for looking at them purposes. But
Yeah, the only reason why I think CDs might not have the same effect is they're too easy rippable, man. Like, I mean, the first time when I copped Get Rich or Die Trying, I copped it from somebody like in school, and they were selling on a $5. They sold me for $5 on like a blank.
You
or like,
couldn't even buy the real album, damn Ack. You've been a pirate
Nobody
since
was going
day
to
one.
the store.
I did. I copped
There was
the
a
real
nigga
album.
around school just hustling like, yo,
Come on,
he
Ack.
ripped the shit like
Come on, Ack.
1,000 times, and he was selling it $5 a piece.
Okay.
So
All right, so more music. So we got the QC project from Lil Yachty and Migos. We got Culture 2 recently, but there's still more music on the way. A new project called Glacier Boyz from Gucci, Lil Yachty, and Migos. Do we need this project right now? Are you guys excited for it?
I'm out of the loop. I never even heard the original. Was it released already?
Well, Glacier Boyz
Glacier Boyz?
is supposedly a newly formed like gang
Yeah,
or
but
group.
this says a re-releasing.
Oh,
No, Chops
Chops,
is
did you
typing
fuck
things
up, bro?
wrong if it says that. OVO Chops.
no,
It's just
eh.
releasing. It's coming out
Oh,
for the first
releasing.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pardon
Yeah.
me, Chuck. Yeah. Okay, so I didn't catch it. No.
yeah. Honestly, I've gave my complaint already. Just a little bit too much music. I would like for Quavo and the Ice Tray gang to just cool out for a little bit. But again, you've said it, right? You believe the culture is capitalism. They're gonna make a shit ton of money off this. Just keep throwing it out there. As long as people fucking consume it and people are not actively rejecting it, just keep doing it. However, just speaking from a fan who love all of these guys involved, but for pushing the sound and pushing creativity, I don't know what to expect.
Here's what I do want to ask you though. Quavo's partnering up with some guy, DJ, what's his name, on the newer Culture 2. And that's the guy who he produced like 9 or 10 of the tracks. You know what I'm talking about? DJ,
Is it Durrell or no?
I think that's it, Darrell.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So he didn't do too much production on Culture 1, right?
Yeah, well, from what I know, that's just Migos DJ. So I know he does.
Okay,
he dabbles in production.
But
though.
he and Quavo produced about 9 or 10 tracks on Culture 2. So what I'm trying to get at here is, do you think that now, Quavo's producing a whole lot of shit for the Migos and other people? Because you don't particularly care for Culture 2, you've already said that, in comparison to Culture 1, right?
Yeah, I do believe the sound has become a little diluted. I think at some point you got to protect that sound. And if you don't protect that sound, like your shit's gonna get used up, and also people are gonna start looking at it like this shit all sound the same. So I'm hoping, again, I'm gonna always give these guys a chance, but this is not jumping off the paper like, oh shit, the Glacier Boyz
Yeah,
is
yeah.
coming. That's not the case.
I'm not waiting on this, man.
Right?
Glacier.
And by the way, I'm still waiting for Yachty's. Yachty is coming out with with his project, the second what is it? Jesus Christ, I'm like fucking blame it on the Belvedere. I ain't gonna lie. Yachty's coming out with a second album, and also he has a tape with him and Takeoff. So he has 2 other tapes and this, and he was just featured on a compilation project. I don't know.
It's a lot of music.
I don't know. It's a lot of music, man. How do you? Again, you probably do it differently than I do, but how do you consume music when it's coming like this? Like, if someone drops new music last week and they're saying, oh, new music coming next week, how could you digest that all? How do you really?
I do look at the producers along with the artists to see if the artists themselves have started producing their own music.
Yeah.
That sometimes that's a sign of not necessarily listening to other people. You have to let other people be objective with regards to your art sometimes. And I think that's where Culture 2 lost you and some other people. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but you know, Culture 1, you had other people that produced various tracks. It had a slower tempo. Culture 2, in my opinion, I could be wrong, was more up-tempo, and you had Darrell, right? DJ Darrell?
Yeah,
He had more to do with Culture 2. So I would take that as an indication that whatever the next album is going to be, Culture 3 or whatever, you're going to see more of this guy, DJ Darrell, with Quavo, because they did form a partnership. So to answer your question, I look at production along with the artist, not just the artist.
When I hear that, and again, I won't completely commit to what you just said, but I won't knock it either. That's a good theory.
Okay.
I do see Quavo going down a route that Travis Scott's going down. Like, Travis Scott almost found his sound, and like, if you go to Travis Scott for a track, he's almost producing a track. So I think Quavo just realized this is my sound, and I could produce this, so I'm gonna keep going forward with that particular sound.
Okay.
All right, guys, Glacier Boyz coming in February. Seems like you're both super excited.
Yeah, I'll wait.
A couple weeks,
We're
few
gonna get the
days.
most lyrics.
It's
By the
coming
way,
this
the
month.
Glacier Boyz stand for these niggas literally just having blinged out chains.
Ice Stray
So
Gang, yeah.
imagine the amount of iced out lyrics we're gonna get.
All right, so we talked about the Black Panther soundtrack last week. We knew we were going to get some new music from Kendrick. So this track called Pray For Me features The Weeknd. Let's listen. All right, first impressions, hot or nah?
I don't really trust my own judgment too much anymore, because I thought that the track with Kendrick and Rihanna that won a Grammy.
Which one? The Loyalty joint?
Yeah, I thought that was bullshit. Just in my opinion, but it won a fucking Grammy. This particular track, Pray For Me, according to MediaBase. You familiar with MediaBase? Mm-hmm. Okay. As of last week, 100 stations are on it, 2,000 spins, so it's off to a good start.
Well, it means the label is behind it.
The machine's behind it. But now you have radio and retail, which don't necessarily coincide. Radio can mean people are getting programmed to hear it. It can mean that, as you just said, the machine is behind it. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to sell and become a bona fide hit. So I don't know if it's hot or not. I think it's off to a good start.
Okay.
I'll speak about it in a creative sense.
Please.
The Weeknd, he's one of the kings of this music shit,
Clearly,
in my opinion.
clearly.
EXO, I got EXO tatted somewhere.
Okay, we know you went to one concert one
Listen,
time. Relax.
The Weeknd's my guy. But I will say, though, as a fan of The Weeknd, and I understand this song, so I am excusing this song, but I'm going to give my overall critique. I see a little bit too much pop going on with him, and I'm used to that sound that's not that much Starboy.
Oh, I was just going to say, if we're talking about too much pop, did you listen to the Starboy album?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
so you don't want him to keep going in that direction?
Yeah, I don't want him to go too much pop. I want him to remember why fans like me really fell in love with his music.
Some more beauty behind the madness.
But of course, he's a pop star. Right. Again, when he's making a track for a soundtrack, of course he's not going to be trying to make a cult following type of song. So I understand it, but you know, I'm watching The Weeknd, man. I want him to kind of bring it back in. But
bring it back in.
So this track, hot or nah, Pray For Me.
This shit is lukewarm, man.
Really?
Lukewarm.
Are you allowed to have lukewarm? You came up with hot or nah. There should be no in between.
Hot or nah, yeah. Now I'm going to say lukewarm, yo.
Okay,
This is like baby
so
bottle
diplomatic
temperature.
Whoa,
today.
so
This
this
is
is your
baby
title?
Bob.
How to not?
Well, no, well, they
Yes.
jacked it from me just
Yes.
like putting shit on Instagram.
Just
saying
clowning
how
him
to
and
not.
it's stuck.
So do you think that, Kendrick with 5 Grammys,
Yeah.
do you think that track will get pushed through the channels, regardless of whether it's being felt by the streets or not, shall we say, and become a certified hit? I mean, he just came off of 5 Grammys.
Okay,
They're
okay.
going to push that.
Okay, so you're talking about it in terms of success. I mean, those 2 artists alone, I think is going to be successful. Am I rocking with it? This ain't my cup of tea, man. I'm trying to be very diplomatic about my guy the weekend, but this ain't the one, man.
Okay.
Well, the
This
single
ain't
with SZA is definitely still doing well, so we'll see. I'm sure they're going to continue to push this. All right, so Waka Flocka did an interview with
Holy
the Dom
smokes.
Nadi show, and he calls Lil Pump an albino Waka Flocka. I'm glad I don't have to explain this one myself. Let's just check out some of the footage.
Lil Pump rapping about the shit I rapped about my last 30+ old CDs. Literally, same shit.
Yeah.
Same way, on my same style beats.
Yeah.
Lil Pump is like a white Waka Flocka.
Yeah.
Excuse me, not white, albino Waka Flocka.
You are the expert on Lil Pump.
You're the Lil Pump expert.
So,
Am I the Lil Pump expert?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what Waka is really talking about.
Waka says a lot of shit.
No. In terms of incoherent fuckery, and Waka has put out some incoherent fuckery.
Very well
he's,
said.
he's hyped and all that.
Yeah.
Pump does that too. I don't want to say Waka's music was way more aggressive, while Pump music is just hyped. So I don't really see the direct correlation. Pump ain't putting out aggressive music. Waka used to put out that head busser, like fuck somebody up in the club, stepped on your shoes, just elbow a nigga
Right.
music. But I do understand that chanting hype music that he's talking about. He's definitely not dissing Pump here. And I think it's been...
I like that he's not dissing
Yeah,
him.
it's in the same line of what he's been saying. In Waka's opinion, this is the best generation of rap. And you know why? Number one, he's influenced a lot of this shit. And he's acknowledging I've influenced niggas like Lil Pump. And maybe Lil Pump himself may not see the direct influence, because Lil Pump might be like, oh, no, I'm influenced by Chief Keef, but Chief Keef's influenced by Waka. You get me? So it all kind of goes in. And I think Waka's having this moment when he's speaking about these things, like he's looking down like a proud grandfather of some sorts. So
He just made him mad old.
No, he's not that old, but of course, in terms of the sound and everybody else like rising with different sounds, but it's really a derivative of kind of his sound still. So he's super proud.
I don't have a problem with what he said. Any updates on Lil Pump and Warner Brothers? You said that Warner Brothers was trying to stop him from going to another label,
I can tell you, I've spoke to label sources.
and Warner Brothers let it go, right?
Label
No,
sources.
absolutely no.
No?
Absolutely not.
They're
I
still
mean,
fighting to keep him.
Absolutely not. Like I was in LA. I was in the buildings. I'm not, and they're still trying to get Pump back. Again, they're trying legally as best as they can. It might be.
Have they filed court papers?
Yes, all these things are happening. Now it might be for nothing, right? The court might just be like, fuck you, right? No, this is 100% fact.
You just still don't believe that
I don't
they would
believe what
fight
he said.
to keep him?
Right now, I don't believe this shit that's coming out of your mouth. Can you get any papers to show that Warner Brothers is trying to stop Lil Pump?
We'll
I don't
need
think they're
TMZ
gonna
for
stop
that.
it.
Hey, TMZ will get it on.
Yeah,
we'll
give
get-
them a week. If it's real, they're
Listen,
gonna
listen.
get those papers.
Let me tell you this though,
Tell us something.
right? Because, and this is why I can't understand you, because you say you get the business. I just can't believe you would just think that a record label would pump millions into a guy and just allow him to walk with the masters of the hit album and the hit song that they gave him.
Until you get me some court documents to prove me wrong, I'm just going by experience. You can't. Again, I don't want to go too far
agree to
back
disagree.
into this, but you can't expect a judge to allow you to do business with a minor to promote the shit he was promoting, and then try to get him back. It doesn't make sense.
Well, even if it doesn't make sense, if you think that legally they wouldn't at least have some lawyers trying to fight that in court to see if they could stop him from.
They might be asking him, please, Pump, come back. But what I'm asking you is about, can you produce some type of motions or injunctions? That I don't see happening.
that's definitely happened. TMZ will handle it.
Okay, yeah. Let's
Actually,
just give him a few
y'all gotta
days. He
plug in
might-
TMZ.
I'm coming to
I'll
the
get it.
#1 hip hop source.
Yeah, but not legal
Fuck
documents.
TMZ.
That's not his
Can you
area of
So
expertise.
I could get some of those,
He'll get
but I
them.
mean,
Come on, man, get
I really don't
something.
even give a fuck about this enough to really be going this deep in digging. It will come to light again.
Okay.
Sooner or later, it'll come to light.
What Act does care about is his flourishing mumble rap career. I'm here
That's
to
a
support
fact.
you. I can't wait for your tape. But you got
Well,
a lot of
that snippet
competition out here. Nah, we're about to talk about India
Oh.
Love. She's rapping too. I just want you to check out some of the competition. Let's roll this clip.
I stay studio on the mic in that studio. Nigga, I'm so off the wall like MJ up in Mexico. Always on the next episode. Stay cool like Eskimo. Out of here like adios, cause Vamonos means here we go. The roof is on fire. And ain't nobody flyer. I got the whole world inspired. And we gon' take it higher and higher.
All right, can she get a feature on the tape or what? What do you guys think?
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. My ghostwriters are way more lit. I love India Love, but she got assigned to Atlantic. They got all the hot ghostwriters. I don't know who wrote this track, but it's not the one.
She got signed?
Everybody got a deal. Trust me. Everybody has a deal.
She
We
got a
just
deal.
don't know.
I mean,
Nothing that's been officially announced.
Nothing official.
nothing
right?
official, but
Okay.
but usually when you start seeing stuff, people have deals. Nowadays, everyone has a deal. Just they're quiet about it. As far as her, I didn't like this song. However, she has this.
That was a song?
Yeah, she has the star power and she has the appeal.
So just a
Sex
better
appeal.
ghostwriter and she's good?
Get a better ghostwriter and better presentation. And shit, Atlantic Records made Cash Me Outside Girl kind of look lit. So she might. if
Cash
she's-
Me Outside Girl has got a little flow, I have to say.
That's what I'm saying.
Got a little flow.
That's what I'm saying. If she signs to Atlantic,
I don't like to dump on young people, but this girl right here, I don't hear her flow. I'm sorry.
that's because she's not on
Does she
Atlantic.
need a flow?
What's that?
He's right. She just needs the right team around
Do you know who
her.
she
and
reminded
she'll
me
be
of?
good.
Just a little bit? Honey Cocaine. Remember her?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Honey Cocaine was the shit. I don't know what happened to her, but she had bars. Chichi got the yayo and all that crazy shit.
You thought it was bars?
What's that?
No,
I'm not
her,
trying to
honey.
lie. You thought it was bars?
I said Honey Cocaine had bars.
But you say she reminded you of Honey Cocaine, who had bars. Are you trying to say she had bars?
Somewhat, sorta. Yeah.
Just the vibe?
The vibe. There you
Okay.
go. Thank you.
And listen, with Cardi, with the surge of Cardi B, I think people realize that if you have that charisma, that star power, you could make it, but you also got to connect it with a bunch of other stuff. The right writers, the right beat, the right situation. If India Love is really serious about this, because we see Black China also trying her hand, if she's only dibbling, we're going to see this and we're going to run her straight out of here. If she's committed like Cardi B,
Black China's not going to happen, but go ahead.
Cardi B got clowned for a long while. And she stuck to the course until she got it. Now she's one of the hottest chicks in the game.
Cardi always had bars, though.
I wasn't that big of a fan of her first works. I was like, this is not what I want to hear constantly. But now the shit I'm hearing, I'm like, yo, Atlantic got her with the right shit.
All right, we got one more for you guys. This one, sorry, Act. Once again, we're gonna need your expertise.
Oh, let's
Just
go.
what Tekashi 69 posted this. Just signed to Birdman, Rich Gang, Flame Emojis, $15 million February 23rd, and Young Thug up in the comments saying you're perfect. By the way, that's my guy. I love Thug. I don't know what's happening here.
I'm still trying to figure out like what's the fascination with Thug.
He's different.
He is different.
Okay,
He's different.
where do we start here? Is he trolling because this is all he does? Why would he be signing with Birdman? Who's Birdman giving $15 million to? Are Thug and Birdman still tight? Are Thug and Tekashi
You want to go
working?
first? This is your
I'm
guy,
just-
Tekashi.
I'll let you go first, man. I
You want me to go first?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Look, I'm going to go very far left. I woke up Saturday, had the flu.
Yeah.
You were in LA. I was trying to troll you, but you were hiding at the Twitch office in someplace else. And
You're trying to troll me.
I do troll you. It's no fucking secret. So I see Tekashi, or what I thought was Tekashi, getting pressed in Minnesota for the chain.
Yeah.
But then I see him twirling with the chain, and I said, "Oh shit, they didn't get the chain." I'm sorry.
Are you waiting for the chain to get snatched?
I'm with the fucker.
All right, put a bet down. How long before the chain gets snatched?
No, hang on a second. So they didn't get the chain, but then I see he signs with Birdman. Birdman can put his hands on some money for a deal. He may have lost the mansion, but I think that he can get a loan to structure a deal for Tekashi. Now, did he do a deal? Only you would know.
Okay, let's just be clear. I think all these artists like just throwing out random arbitrary numbers,
Word.
and I think with Lil Pump saying he's looking for 50 million or more, none of these niggas ain't getting more than 50 million. Tekashi ain't getting nothing more than 6. I'm just being honest with y'all.
Okay.
If he was gonna sign right now, and by the way, he's already signed, but you're not getting more than 6. We got to be realistic.
So this is bullshit with Birdman.
Yeah, of course he's fucking trolling. Like this guy's the biggest troll in the game. Like when he sees himself be mentioned on Everyday Struggle, he realizes his troll worked. He didn't sign with Birdman. I'm not gonna knock Birdman's ability to come up with some money to sign some people.
Birdman can still put his hands on some cash.
Yeah, sell that toilet, fucking, you know what I mean? Sell two or
Sell
three.
all that shit.
Sell 2-3 Bugattis, and he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Homie's trolling. His career is on the up, but we do have to. I think fans, and I hope like even through watching shows like this, we get to educate them. 15 million is a lot of fucking money. Okay, and I mean we wouldn't know how his deal was structured, but for a label to give most artists that, just being honest with you, a lot of these guys don't have a shelf life beyond 2 to 3 years. For them to give 15 million to one of these niggas, that's really placing, that's almost going all in. Of course that's all in with their bankroll, but really that's saying you're the guy. I don't think Pump getting 15 million, and I love Pump. I want him to get 15, but I don't think he's getting 15. This nigga ain't getting 15. It's a good troll though, and what I realize is that, yo, people are so gullible, they eat it up.
Now can we get back to the chain?
Yeah, okay, when do you think the chain gets
On
next?
some monkey shit. Now, forgive me, a man of a certain age, sitting here waiting for this young man to lose his fucking chain. But he's sitting up on the gram.
It's $250,000.
Spinning the chain saying it'll never happen, right?
Okay.
He said it'll never happen. So, of course, we want this shit to happen. If you're saying it's never going to happen, we want it to happen.
By the way, we or you? It sounds like you hating, man.
It's not hate. He's saying it'll never happen, so I want to see it happen. I don't want to see nothing happen to him, but I want to see the chain come off his neck.
Yeah. So how long before you think this chain is out of here? It's $250,000.
Well, he's performing on the 9th in
What?
Oh, you look
You
at his
haven't
tour
mapped
schedule.
out? Okay.
Hang on. He's performing on the 9th in Pennsylvania. I
Where
think
at?
I'm going to the concert.
Oh, so you're
You're
snatching
gonna
his
snatch
chain.
it.
Okay.
No, I'm not
Oh,
doing
man.
shit.
Hey.
So I was like, why do you have a date picked out for this? Okay.
Stars, if you snatch a chain and you make a YouTube video on it,
I think it's either Scranton or
are the niggas in Scranton by that life? Which I can imagine they are.
those are savages out there. But now, I'm not saying it's going to happen on the 9th, but he's on tour. I'm going to the show. You want to come on the 9th?
Oh, no?
Not in Pennsylvania, man. I'll go to New York. Listen, I will say this, and I told him this, right? Because he just went to Minnesota, and I think, you know what I mean, because his team, again, if you don't know him, he's honestly a kind of a very fun kid. You see trolls a lot. There's serious people behind him.
I wish nothing bad upon him, but
There's serious people behind him, and in New York there might be a certain way, but when you start moving around, you go to somebody else's city, I don't care what you think of that city, you're not in New York anymore.
60 days, I would like to see the chain come off. I want nothing to happen to him.
All right,
Yeah, 60
Tekashi,
days.
protect your chain.
Yeah, I told him this. I said, because he had said a comment like last night, people were throwing like buckets at him while he was on stage at a event where Lil Wayne
Buckets?
performed. Well,
Like with the handle and everything?
no, it's some cheap nigga shit. Like basically niggas ordered bottle service, they took their bottles out and they threw the bucket with the ice. They're not gonna throw
He's
the bottle.
entertaining as shit. He's jumping off into the audience and they're not catching him.
And put it like this though.
Right or wrong?
You're right, but put it like this though. With him, well, first of all, he's jumping off. He's showing up at other people's concerts. Like they don't like you that much. Like they want.
He doesn't know.
You got to do that at your concert,
how to do
your
it.
tour.
That's the point.
But with him, I told him, I said, man, he recently said, oh, I'm out here running the city, as in Minneapolis. He was in Minnesota, and I said to him, I said, I know you're traveling around now. He's getting a lot of money per show. I said, when you get to Chicago, don't do that shit, because it won't end with people throwing buckets of ice on the stage. I'm pretty sure in Chicago and some other places, they're moving a little bit different when you say you're running their city. So I hope he kind of realizes that you could maybe move a certain way in New York, but you gotta have respect. You gotta have respect. And if you keep inviting that energy, at some point you won't be on the gram spinning that chain. You might be hurt. And I wouldn't want that, because
I think it's Wilkes-Barre, PA on the 9th. And
Oh my God. Yeah, Tekashi better bring extra security for this chain.
I live this, sadly.
If you snatch a chain, would you wear it to the show?
I'm not snatching no fucking chains. Let's not put that out there. Complex Media has nothing to do with the statements I just said.
Oh, they got a disclaimer.
See
for
the
that.
disclaimer.
They got a
guys.
disclaimer for that.
That's already clear.
But this young man is saying nobody's gonna take this shit. It's never gonna happen. So I want to see it happen.
All right. Let's see if it happens. All right, guys. That's our show. Thank you for watching. Of course, we'll be back tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. on Complex News YouTube. Star, you really picked out a date to go get this man's chain.